Hello and welcome to a latest episode of Chasing Creativity. This is Kiran Mandral. Today I have with me a very dear friend, a content strategist and an author. Please meet Pooja Poddar Marwa.
Thanks, Kiran. Thank you so much for having me on this show. I'm just so glad to first be in Bombay and then to be on your show. It's like I have arrived.
No, you have arrived long before you arrived on the show.
So,
I have been watching your growth with great interest, Pooja. Your social media following, of course, how you built yourself up as a content strategist, and now as an author. You have one book out there, two more coming. So I'm very curious to know how Pooja was a girl from Bombay who went and studied at Pelhams and she graduated, vagera, 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 got married, vagera. How did content strategy come into this whole picture? When did it happen? Was it fluke? Was it happenstance?
sometimes I think things just fall into place, So I was a stay-at-home mom for the first 20 years of my life after marriage. And so when you apply for Pelham Girls, what happens is that there's this entrance process that you have to go through. A lot of people are going to kill me for saying this out on camera, but there's a lot of pressure on kids.
Of course.
And to get into that school, I understand, IIT, IIMs and all also have it. But at school level, I as a mom found it a lot. But having said that, it's a process. They had to go through the grind. So being a helicopter mom that I was, I promise I'm not that anymore, but
We shall ask your kids.
yeah, no, you're not asking the kids that for sure. But the fact is that I used to kind of take them to their classes. Now what happened is that you had to do an English, Hindi, maths and social science, which my daughters termed as common sense. I said, you can't call it common sense. She's saying, you're literally sending me to a class for common sense. So I said, then take it like this, ki common sense is not common only in your life. Anyways, having said that, what happened is I used to sit in the car because there was never enough time. So I used to pack just a tiffin, subah pack karo, and then like a driver, 1, 2, 3, 4 stops karo. So 2-3 days I did it, and then I said, I'm just wasting my whole day. Why don't I just write? I like to write. I just stopped writing when I got married. And I studied at Sydenham, and my articles used to come out in the annual magazine. But nahi likha uske baad, it just kind of stayed. So I took my laptop and I used to pick up a Thumbs Up. Bombay Girls, so Thumbs Up, Coke, Pepsi, just don't do it for me.
Mixed with rum?
Yeah, no, not at 10 in the morning. But yeah, now that you say it, I should have. And I used to sit in the car and just write, and I am a sucker for love, romance, of course, Mr. Shah Rukh Khan, courtesy him. Having said that, I just started writing, and I started writing about the complexities of middle-aged relationships because I grew up in Bombay and there was a family very close to our place which had a very transactional kind of a marriage, and I found that very strange, so where in one side we grew up to that quintessential DDLJ, the other side was like what is this, what is happening? So I guess some part of that stayed, and I started writing, and it became a story. I got engrossed in it, and in that 3-4 months of her classes I finished that entire book of about 70,000 words.
Wonderful.
And then I just left it, didn't think about it. Really, again, this sounds like a Bollywood film, but then a friend of mine came in from Delhi. She was spending 2 nights with me. Her laptop crashed, borrowed mine. How she came and opened this file, I have no idea. And then she said, hey, why aren't you publishing it, this, that. I said, I never thought of really publishing a book. But it so happened that I said, okay, let me try. I didn't understand traditional publishing, self-publishing, nothing. This one company reached out, we'll do it. And there's some art fund and all, this, that, whatever. I said, theek hai, kar lo. I should have checked more, I should have read more, lots of should be's, could be's. But anyways, the book came out, I was really happy. Oh my God, I have a book.
I'm an author now.
Yeah, I know. So that kick kind of set in. But having said that, then Corona ho gaya. Couldn't market it, couldn't do anything. During Corona, I ended up writing the sequel to that book.
Okay.
Which is also written. And then, a couple of people that I knew in Bombay, I tried to get it kind of pitched for a visual. So it is still in talks. I know we're 5 years later, but I haven't kind of stopped. But in the middle, I started writing again more because Corona gave me that time. And I finished 2 more books. But this time, the first one was on adult relationships. The second 2 were on young adults. Probably because, we were all cooped up with, I have two kids in the house, 2 girls. And because we were always there together, I said, there's so much I can write about these 2. So I just kind of, to vent in a way, put it all down on paper. That's how the author part of me came. Now what happened is that honestly it was because I was new to this. I thought the struggle was really intense to, get into it, find a lit agent, find a publisher, and this and that. Did find a lit agent finally, but somehow it didn't work out for me. So I'm back to square one. But having said that, while all that was happening, I did this course on LinkedIn just on a whim. Like, hey, I really like this platform. It's very intellectual. I do have a good social media on Instagram, but I somehow thought that LinkedIn was more me. So I kind of did this course, went to LinkedIn. As luck would have it, I met this LinkedIn number one creator. He's called Yasmin, now a very good friend. And I have to tell you about this crazy story about Yasmin too. But I started kind of understanding how you write on LinkedIn and what happens. And I don't know how it happened, honestly, Kiran, because somebody just reached out to say, hey, would you do this for me? And I'll pay you so much. And I was like, really? That's a lot of money for writing a post. But it worked out. And I said, okay, theek hai. And in the middle, I used to dabble with a couple of, articles and stuff for these Fortune 500 companies. A friend of mine worked at a PR firm. They needed articles written. They didn't have the caliber to write for, executives, C-suites, politicians as well. So I just started doing random assignments, freelance. Kabhi article likh do, kabhi TEDx speech likh do, kabhi once I wrote a G20 speech for one of our seniors in India, can't name, but of course. So it started with that, and I still didn't think it was serious, how did content? And then suddenly with LinkedIn, I realized that, oh my God, there's this whole world here. So while I was waiting for the books, I kind of started taking that up. And in 8 months of being on the platform, it's like, I don't know when it's morning and when it's night. It's like a full-time job. And I'm working with some of the biggest leaders in the world. Some people rule countries as well. And it just kind of fell into my lap. So in my head is like, should I continue the author part of me or should I focus on this? Because I am loving this one.
So what are you tempted to focus on?
Yeah, I'm a woman. I wanted like
You want
both.
it all.
Yeah, I want it all.
You want it all.
Like they say, the cake, the baker, the bakery, the icing, the cherry, sab kuch chahiye. But yeah.
But they're very different kinds of writing, Pooja.
Yes, they are.
One is a very creative, where you use your imagination, you create characters, you create stories, you're playing God in a certain way. But the other one is you're actually putting down the facts, you're trying to position somebody in a certain way, you're trying to present their point of view in a way that nobody takes offense and files an FIR.
Oh yeah, that's true. But then again, I use my storytelling out there.
Okay.
And I think that is what has set my kind of work apart on the platform, as well as to manage, say, their personal brands, because instead of just stating facts, like, we have this traditional show, don't tell, I try and do that to their brand as well.
Okay.
It's not a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, sometimes you do, because you do need to give information in a certain way. But otherwise, there's always some kind of a story around it. And I think that's what is working.
Lovely. So now you have these two parallel careers going on.
Yeah.
Great fun. After 20 years, I mean, I find that really nice, because I keep telling women that please reinvent yourself all the time. Like, there's no point in, so many women, I was there, and you sort of give up on your career after a point because you're just being mom and taking care of the house and everything, and suddenly you have the second wind, second burst. Now that you have your second wind, you're doing content and you're writing for some of the biggest names in the world, and you can't name any?
No. I will be sued. I can tell you companies, but I cannot tell you names.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've done a little work for this political company in San Francisco. I've done work with machining companies. I think everybody knows one of the world's biggest machining companies, Caterpillar, Adobe, Infortal, Icreon, a lot of big names. Currently working with somebody in Japan, which is actually really exciting for me. Crazy timelines, but you sit with a glass of wine at night, have your calls, sit and do your work. I'm actually really enjoying what I do. And in spurts, I'm also writing like my own books. So I don't know, somewhere there is no blur. I think it's all related to writing. As you rightly said, it's different because one is very creative and one is a little bit structured. But I can kind of, again, like you role play in your head when you create a character. I sometimes feel like that's what I'm doing to myself too. And I enjoy it. Like for some time, I'm this, author, and I'm kind of getting into this zone and into your characters. And then sometimes I'm here. And here also it's fun because you're writing for different people, right? So you have to be in their head. You have to be in their voice. So it's a lot of fun.
That brings me to the next question I was going to ask you, because they're very different people and they're very different spaces that you're writing in. How do you get into the head of the person you're writing for, and how do you make sure it sounds authentic, it sounds like them?
I think that's something I have been asked a lot actually, and I think it's just inherent. I always say, give me 1 hour with the person I want to write. A lot of times they say, nahi, you know, our EA will talk to you, this, that. I said, I won't write for you. I will not put down a word if I am not getting an hour, just 1 hour, and that's it. I do not need any more time. I just need to understand. Sometimes people have certain words, they talk a certain way. Now, for example, if I have to write, say, in your voice, there's never going to be a serious line because you aren't a serious person in terms of that. You know, you love humor, you love comedy, you love thrill, you love paranormal activity. So I would kind of use a little bit of your personality to put down something for you. But that's because I know you, we've spent time together. And when it happens with all these people, an hour or maybe even 45 minutes, it just gives me a little insight. Initially, maybe 1 or 2 times you go back and forth, and then it's just... I think I'm really blessed. I can.
You can. It's
Yes.
a skill. It's a skill.
I think it's a skill. I think
Yeah.
it's a skill.
It's not
because-
something that can be taught also. It's just something that you pick up inherently. I think because you're a people person.
Could
and you-
be.
And you're good with people and you can read the room, you can read the vibe.
Yeah.
You get that. Now when you, because you're doing this two very different kind of work, what is your working day like?
As of right now, absolutely crazy. I have zero idea because between your working, because I work from home, it's like, Bhabhi ji, sabji mein kya banao?
I hear you.
Saaf
I
kaise
hear
karu?
you.
It's like, can you stop? You know, your mom-in-law needs you. Your husband is like, give me this paper. And I'm like, can I please? I'm trying to do something. But I'm so used to it, you know, because if you tell me, do I have a dedicated time? I don't. And I know you can understand because you do the same. It's very hectic. Generally, it's a 10 to 5. 5:30, quarter to 6, I go. I have to work out. I just love my workout. Whether it's kickboxing, dance, yoga, whatever I do, at the end of the day, it's something that I really look forward to. After that, I kind of tune off. But with the content, what happens is that sometimes you have calls because you're working across timelines at night. So those I try not to take more than 2 or 3 times a week.
Okay.
And I take them on days that I can have a glass of rosé, so it kind of calms me down. I don't get stressed and I love it. And of course I have those days, aaj nahi peena hai, kal peena hai, so it just makes it easier for me. But yeah, on a serious note, I like to do it like that because it helps me calm down and enjoy what I'm doing. You're having a good conversation, you're making your notes, you're writing it, you know, and you're doing it at your time. And I think for me, not being answerable for, you know, ki chutti pe jane ya ye karna, it's a big deal.
Yeah, you're working for yourself at the end of the
Yeah,
day,
yeah.
and that's the best thing. Pooja, when you are creating a, what do you say, a persona or a presence for somebody on social media, that's a big part of what you do. How do you do it, and what would you tell people who are looking to build themselves as brands on social media?
So to build yourself as a brand, first of all, you need to be committed to giving that whichever social media app you want to kind of build on one first and then diversify. Why? Because a lot of people who start out are like, no, but we need to be everywhere. I said, you can be everywhere, but every platform has a very distinct format and a way to write. For example, an Instagram to Facebook, pretty similar, but Insta, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, right? So if I were to say, just talk of these 4, the way we kind of post on Instagram, it's more visual. It's more quick. It's faster. I mean, it's content that's consumed much faster. It has to be written like that, whether it's a reel, whether it's a post. On a LinkedIn, you need to format it really well because if it's not formatted, if it is not suited to your audience, it's going nowhere. And also on LinkedIn, what matters is the way you structure your content. What are you writing? What are you talking about? Are you writing for somebody who's into infographics? Are you writing for somebody who's creating content? Are you writing for somebody who's into, for example, one of my clients is a business mindset coach. Now, obviously, if you're a coach, you're looking to kind of get leads. You're looking to kind of build your brand. So in that particular instance, your content would be what we call bottom funnel content, which is content that is going to help attract people to your page to have a conversation with you. So depending on what you're looking for, a lot of the leaders that I write for, those, Kiran, we focus on just, say, top of the funnel content. You understand what that means? Because for them, they're not looking to increase business or anything. They just need, we need to be sounded, we need to be kind of positioned larger than life. Of course, most of them are who they are, but you just make them kind of sound much better than they are. So, so yeah. So, but it's fun to do that. And what I would say is that whatever you want to start with one. Even if you want to go on X, start with just X, get to a certain audience, and then kind of diversify. It's what I did to myself too.
Okay.
I first started Instagram. Of course, I was all over the place initially, but then I kind of found my little, though I don't put myself in this little niche and little box, because for me, again, like I said, I'm a woman and I don't want to just say ki, this is what I do, because I can do it all. And I feel that kabhi iske baare mein baat karna hai, kabhi something else, so that's fine. But primarily because I'm focused on content and people want to learn it, so I've put my Instagram to more of a tutorial kind of way, in a fun, you know, reels or whatever I put.
Yeah, and you're very consistent. I keep seeing you posting every single day those reels. I say, hats off to her.
No,
How do
3.
you-
I do 3.
3 a day.
No, you're 3 a day. Oh my god.
I mean, like, I was like, superwoman, let me touch your feet.
No, I will go mad, Kiran. It's 3
In a
posts a week.
Okay.
2 reels and 1 static. That is standard. I cannot go beyond that because I just lose my cool. But you know, more than creating content for our audience that is listening, you need to first get people to your page. So that is only going to happen if you spend a good, maybe an hour, maybe 2, maybe even more, to engage with people. And this is something that holds true for any platform you are on. Whether you're on Facebook or Twitter or X or LinkedIn, you need to make that effort to connect. For example, if I say want to work with you, I need to be somebody in your life, right? For you to want to at least have a conversation with me. So what I would do is get into, say, your Instagram, comment on a post, comment on a story, try and kind of build a relationship before just going up and saying, hey, you know what, Kiran, can I do this with you? This is what I do. Would you be interested? Because putting that straight up in a way kind of kills it all. Yeah, it's like,
very
you know, you're just
off-putting.
pitching. Yeah, it's like a pitch slap. That's not something I've ever done. And I would never recommend it to anybody who does want to kind of start off in their content journey. So the best way is first figure out which platform. And on that platform, I'm not one for trends and all. Ki this is trending, that is trending. You do what you want to do, but do it in your voice. That is what makes you stand up.
Okay. And I think I've never been able to do a reel in my life.
Please, I am going to now. We need to put your Instagram maybe here in the background.
And so I can cringe of embarrassment and
Yes.
die halfway through the podcast. No. We will complete the podcast, then I can die.
Yes. No, we're not going to let you die. We have you in Dehradun soon. But yeah.
But now let's come to the books.
Yeah.
There was an interesting story about Croatia, was it? That you were going to tell me?
Bosnia.
Bosnia.
Oh my goodness. I did the craziest thing and I still don't know how I did it. So after marriage, I haven't traveled alone in the sense, you know, kabhi kids, husband, family, parents, whatever. So what happens is that I'm doing this LinkedIn thing and I met LinkedIn number 1 of in the world on LinkedIn. We kind of clicked, connected. Again, like I said, we reached out, we engaged, we connected. But obviously, I mean, if you're one of the biggest creators, how much time do you have? But you know, this is something I'll say, Kiran. Compared to our Indian big creators, I think the creators outside are more humane. They hear you, they see you. Out here, they're just not bothered. They will not even bother replying. But here, if you send a DM, even though it's a week or 10 days later, there's always a reply. And I've written to some of the biggest ones and I've always gotten a reply back. And it's insane. And that's something I think that as Indians, we definitely should kind of think
Learn,
about. Yeah, learn.
I know, I remember my husband, just to divert,
Yeah.
he sent a DM to Nasim Nicholas Taleb or somebody. Somebody.
Yeah.
And it took around 2 weeks, but he got a reply.
Can you imagine?
And he
Can
was
you
shocked.
imagine? Yeah. Like, I actually got a reply.
Like, yeah, he was like totally shocked. I didn't expect it. I was
Yeah.
just putting my point of view across, but I
Yeah.
got a reply.
Yeah. But it just makes you feel seen and heard because that's exactly what I did. And I never expected for any of them to reply back, but they did. And then you just feel like, hey, you know what? This is where I want. Because again, intellectual, good humans that you kind of meet online. And there are lots of Indian creators also on, say, for example, LinkedIn, because I am primarily there. But there's nothing. You can keep messaging, you can keep engaging. There will not even be an acknowledgement that they've kind of been on your page. I mean, kind of, you know. So anyways, having said that, what I did is I said, if I want to go to the next level in this space, there's something that I have to do. So I just kind of wrote to him and said that, can I come and see you? And he initially was, I think it took about a week or 10 days, maybe 12. And then he replied back and said, okay, I only have this slot free, which was the 14th to the 17th of June. In between, there was also Eid. So he said it's a big deal for us. So, but if you are okay, I can only give you these 2-3 days. So I said, okay, fine. Found out Bosnia. I said, जाते कैसे हैं? है कहाँ? Because obviously, yeah, we all know it's part of erstwhile Yugoslavia and this and that.
Yeah, I'm still thinking war in Sarajevo and all
Yeah.
that. That's still playing in my mind.
It is because, you know, and when I told my daughter, the younger one, she says, you do know that World War I started there, right? Please
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
go and start World War III. And I was like, stop. I'm anyway so scared. But I figured out, called up the embassy, ki visa chahiye. They said, if you have a US visa, you can go. Chalo, theek hai. Then reached the airport. This was the strangest thing. You know, my family calls me drama queen Kiran, and sometimes I feel like I just attracted, like on my face it's written ki jo bhi weird cheez hona hai life mein just happen in front of her. So I'm standing in front of this immigration officer and he's saying, ja kahan rahe ho? So I said, sir, Bosnia. तो बोलते हैं वो कहाँ है? So I was like, आपको पता होना चाहिए. I mean, you know, it's your job, not mine.
Google map.
Yeah. So then, okay, ठीक है. He saw on his computer and then he's saying कि visa कहाँ है? I said, sir, Bosnia के लिए visa ज़रूरत नहीं है. You can go on a US visa. किसने आपको बताया? On a hunch, I just, by the way, took the embassy letter, email, because the embassy said, no, you don't need any documentation, we can't give you a letter. I said, कोई बात नहीं, just send an email. So on the email, they sent me a, I think, 50-60 page document. उसको मैंने highlight करके, I took a print. So ये embassy से आया था email, आप देख लो, okay. And I also asked Yasmin कि please, like, just say I'm your friend coming to visit you. What if they stop me? Now, okay, fine. He accepted that. Then he made some calls. There were about 10 or 11 officers on duty that day. Suddenly, Kiran, they all just started clapping. And I was like, what the hell? Everybody at the airport is just staring at me. And I was like, sir, what is happening? So he says, आज ना जो भी officers duty में है, हमने अपने सारे career में किसी को बोस्निया भेजा ही नहीं है.
My goodness gracious.
Oh my God. And that little fear that I had, I was like, oh goodness, good Lord, I'm going to die. I should just turn around. I don't know where I'm going. And of course, in my house, everybody thought I was insane. कि online किसी को मिलने जा रहे हो, कौन है ये? Who is this gentleman? What if he turns out to be, of course, a serial killer, this, that? You think of the world's worst things. Everything that in your book you have written about, you can imagine. So I heard it all and I said, no, बस अब करना है तो करना है. And I am very impulsive by nature. I went, the sweetheart that they were, he, his wife, they came, picked me up 4 days. I was with them all 4 days. I saw the entire country, felt like Alice in Wonderland.
Wonderful.
It was so pretty, learned like crazy amount of stuff and just came back so charged that, you know, there are good people in the world. And he didn't need to, 4 days is what, yeah, somebody's time. And somebody who's so big and so busy. But it really hit me hard that, you know, we say so much in India. Why can't we do this? We don't do this for each other. But here is this person in a small country of the world who everybody on LinkedIn, everybody knows him. But I'm saying, if he didn't have to, he didn't know me from Adams. But he did. And it really left like a huge impact on me that if you can step out there and just be kind, you should. Because sometimes that is all. You know, I went really apprehensive, scared, confused. I didn't even know why I really went. It was just ki bas karna hai, I want to go take this to the next level and that's it. Of course, things have changed after that. Now, if you tell me what are my work hours, even I don't know what my work hours are. But I've met such amazing people that I just love this line. Mm-hmm. Like, it's really insane. And this one gentleman just made everything different for me. Just by saying that you can be the biggest in the world. But you can always have time to do things that matter. And for him, he's like, you are my guest. Kiran, I didn't spend $1.
How wonderful.
Nothing. I spent nothing. Everything. Nay, you are our guest. Eid is a very big festival for us. There is no way we are going to let you pay. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, till today in my heart, it's like, how can I ever repay? But, you know, some people just really touch you in a way that you're just speechless.
Lovely, lovely. So, Pooja, we've done chatting about the content space. I'm very curious to know about the books that are coming up.
Okay, really excited again. 2 of them are coming up. Both are in the young adult space. Again, I'm going to say you're going to call me a drama queen too, Kiran, but there's a story behind both. So the one of
we
them
want
is,
drama on the podcast.
You want drama?
Of
Okay,
course.
then I'm giving
Murders
it to
in
you.
the building. Like
Yeah.
we need drama.
Okay, so one of them is with Westland currently. That is kind of titled Am I Too Old / Young for Insta. It's about the South Indian girl. It's a fiction story. South Indian girl in Mumbai who shifts to Mumbai. And of course, people in Mumbai look at her really strangely. And parents don't allow you to be on Instagram at 13. So, you know, how they kind of navigate it, get pulled into the world of dark web. deep fake, and how they kind of managed to get out. So it's got a subtle life lesson, but done in a little nice kiddie way, in the sense for teenagers. And the second one, where it didn't work with one agent, and I'm in the process of another one. This is like a self-help. It stemmed because 2 years ago, when I went to drop my daughter to Chicago for her undergrad, we were on a flight from Bombay and went via Dubai. Luggage got left in Dubai. That flight had maybe 70% of children, Indian children, going to study in different parts of Chicago. So when the flight landed, luggage didn't turn up. In the flight, say vegetarian food, for example, got over. There were 3 or 4 children who didn't get food, and obviously if you're sitting and there's a child there just sitting, you just kind of give your plate, and he was not being able to kind of converse very well. And in my head was like, how are they going to manage in the United States if you're not going to be able to talk in English? But I asked him, gave him my food, because he was like, nahi. Then he's saying, you're such an Indian mother. And, I said, just take the food. I have enough thepla, khakra, everything I'll eat. But you take it. Because, they're just looking at you with, what do we do now? So I said, you take it. I'm okay. I'm not really so hungry. But the fact is, the food was not the issue. When we landed and the luggage didn't turn up, these kids, obviously, everybody goes on a budget. Colleges were in different parts of the state. They couldn't go to their universities and come back because they would need money, right? They didn't want to spend those extra, whatever, $300-400. So they said, what do we do now? And the person at the airport at America in Chicago was really rude. He was, I don't know, this, that, whatever. So I started tweeting. My mom's into travel as well. Told her, please help me out because I'm here stuck with Janvi, my daughter, as well as the others. And of course, we need luggage. Otherwise, we can't just go buy everything all over again.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we waited 2 days, nothing happened. So obviously, we needed clothes. I was tweeting, she was tweeting. We got a couple of these children to, make a little shout, start tweeting. But there is power in social media because 3 days of tweeting, I get a call. They wanted to find out which flight and luggage and this and that. I said, you should have all these records. But having said that, every night we used to go back, carry food for these children, about 32 of them. Every morning they used to come and I used to go back to check, kya hua luggage, when is it coming? It took us 5 days. I had to go buy things, obviously, because we had really nothing.
No clothes, yeah.
But they couldn't even do that, so they managed with whatever. But 5 days ke baad I realized that there's so much that we don't talk to kids about. And it was just a small thing, but it kind of brought to surface a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And I started putting them all down on my experiences because I grew up in Bombay. And I said, what are the things that I wish I would have known at maybe 17, 18? Let me see. And how did I make my mistakes? Of course, we've all made mistakes, wherever, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in finance, whether it's even in, say, spirituality. So I started putting them all down and it became like a 35 chapter, again, about 65,000 words. Different stories from my life and how I kind of learned from it. Maybe it's a little preachy, but it's not put down in a do this, do that kind of way. It's just about little blogs, articles, experiences that kind of helped me get out of it at that point of time and how it could them. So what I did is I sent it to about 50, 60 children of that age, between 15 and 20, going to college. So I'm pretty clear in my target audience. It is for Indian children going into colleges in India or outside. Because whether you're from, say, Pithoragarh going to Bombay or you're from Bombay going to the United States, that gap is the same. So what if I know a few things beforehand? We can say everything is there online, I know. But when you put it down in a story, again, that's where storytelling comes in. It's actually content with story. So I've kind of merged both sides of me to put it here and then take it again. So
lovely. So right now that's looking to be placed.
Yeah.
You're looking to place that one. And it is targeted for kids going to college, wherever, as you said.
And I would focus more, on that particular age group, because I've been told by a few people that no, don't niche it down. I said, but I know, your audience has to obviously be one person. Like, for example, you write, you have a set audience, right? Anybody can read your book, of course, but sometimes when you're writing, it's for one particular, say, genre of people, that people who would enjoy this kind of work or this kind of book. Like, for example, if I don't read, say, philosophy, if you give me the best book on philosophy, I will not enjoy it. Yeah. So it's just like that.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And what else is happening on the content space? Are you looking to go corporate and put up a little team for yourself, build it up? How are you going to take this to the next level?
Okay, so I'm here in
strategy.
Mumbai for this because I am in conversation with somebody to kind of head their entire team in a big, huge company. But the fact is that I love my free life. So I'm still kind of contemplating as to how do I do it, because I want to, but I don't want to. I mean, I want to be able to sit in the Bahamas with my margarita and enjoy writing. Whoever lets me do that, I'm happy to do it. As of today, I can. So I want to do that. I don't want to tie myself down anymore, because honestly, kids have grown up. I was like a typical balika vadu, shadi jaldi, bacche jaldi, sab kuch jaldi ho gaya. It was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 done. And now where, people generally getting married, have younger kids, and my sisters both have younger children, you're kind of bound with that school pickup, but I don't have all that. So I said, I can go see the world, and I love traveling. So I've kind of given myself this work, whether I'm doing books, whether I'm doing content, I want to be able to do it from anywhere. So I don't know yet if I'm going to form like an agency company, though I haven't even looked for any funding or anything, and I already have it. But I don't want to kind of do that, because I said if I do that, then I am answerable again, and I don't want to be answerable anymore.
Lovely. Let's hope you're not answerable ever.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for your time, Pooja. This was a wonderful conversation.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so fun.
And all the best for the books. Looking
Thank
forward to
you.
reading them.
Yes, you will be the first to read them for sure. Thank you.